Yo, man, I'm glad you randomly brought up that Mason Cam'ron on $1 million worth of game because I was literally listening to that while I was waiting for you to get on the session just now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm like probably like 20 minutes from finishing it. And
Mm.
another thing, you have brought something up about it. Yeah, let's start there actually, because they talked about Joel Santana on there, basically just saying like how they kind of had to force him to record sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
then just like his potential and everything, bro. Like at the time when Joel Santana came out after his mixtape run, like in between his first and second album, like he was in my top five, bro. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was one of them ones, and it sounds crazy to say now, cause like the drop off was so crazy from back then. But
Facts.
but he was really like, yo, a lot of people don't even know this, but he was a big inspiration for Lil Wayne, bruh.
Yeah, he
Like
was.
Lil Wayne had like a certain sound. Then he went up north and started spending a lot of times with Dipset, but specifically with Jewels. Like them two got real close, and they used to actually
Mm-hmm.
like hang out. And he really like just soaked up a lot of like I guess like that New York swag and
The
that kind of
swag.
like
Yep.
style and stuff, and just like morphed it with that down south, and bro, it was over. But at the
Facts.
time, bro, it was like pretty like much known. Like Juelz was the one. You know what I'm saying? When Joel Santana and Lil Wayne was gonna drop their project together, it was exciting because of Juelz. You know what I mean? At the
Mm-hmm.
time, it's crazy to say now, but it was really like Juelz was the guy.
Yeah. No, that. What was the name of that project? What the game's been missing?
What the games were missing. That was
Oh
the
my
second
god.
album.
Yeah, that was the second one. I think he had. What was the first one?
From Me to
Like from me
You.
to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Both of them was fire, dog. Like
Facts,
Joel's man,
bro.
he had it, bro. He really did have it. And kind of what they were just touching on. I actually got to go listen to it because I just caught a little snippet of it. I was just scrolling. I was like, damn, I gotta go check this out. But they were basically saying that he had the potential to be on Ho's level when it came to just his everything about him. Like you just made the point that Lil Wayne, one of arguably one of the greatest rappers of all time, basically was like I saw him and kind of was like, man, I gotta kind of emulate a little bit of what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So that speaks volumes to what the potential was for him.
Yeah, Juelz was definitely one of those that let me down as far as a fan. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's crazy because even Cameron was saying on the interview, like he was just talking about Juelz, like even him, like he's a fan. So like even he be checking like when is he gonna drop music, and he just never drops. And it's
Hmm.
like, bro, like he'll always see him like, oh, I'm gonna drop this in a month, or this is coming out this like, but he never drops anything. And Cam is like, he's a fan. He would like to hear him drop some stuff. And
Hmm.
I like this. I always like Cameron, like just as far as like interviews, his music. Like I was always a big fan, but like in this time that he's in, I like how he's kind of stayed himself, but he's grown too. You know what I mean? Like
You definitely can see it.
you could hear it.
Hmm.
He was talking about how Gillie and Wallo got him and Mase back together as far as like getting cool again. And he was just saying it straight up, like he wasn't even trying to make it sound cool, cause like that's a big thing for me, bro. I hate with a passion when somebody tries to make something sound cool because they just don't feel comfortable just saying it as it is. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like when they try to switch words and make something sound real gangster. Like, yo, you ever seen that little video of like the dude where he's like, "Hey, yo, happy G Day, yo."
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
happy G Day. And everybody's like, why you just don't say happy birthday? He's like, yo,
yeah.
happy Slime Day, yo.
Yeah.
That thing's so funny, bro, because it's so true. Like everybody knows somebody like that they're just too cool to even just say regular stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you're just such a super thug gangster more than everybody else that you just have to be Mr. Hard Guy all the time. Like, bro, that shit's so corny, man.
No facts, big facts. Especially when it's like, bruh, at a certain point, dog, we grown as hell. Ain't nobody, don't nobody care about that no more. You know what I mean? Like,
Bro, and then that's the crazy shit about like when you kind of leave like that hood kind of vibe. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? Because people ain't like that in real life. You know what
mm-hmm,
I'm saying? Like that's something that I had to kind of learn. Like you almost, bro. It's funny because I talked about this with Edgar one time. Like before, when you start working, you almost feel like everybody's pussy. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're coming from like a whole different vibe, and then like you're kind of seeing how people move and the way people are in real life. Like they don't really want no confrontation and stuff like that. And when you start working, like when at least for me, bro, like, and I know you probably can relate too, like. You come from like a certain kind of environment where everybody's on a certain kind of vibe, and then you start working, and you're thinking that everybody's still gonna be on the type of time that the people you know is on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that just kind of ties in because it's like when you grow up, you start meeting certain people and you start breaking bread with certain people, and you see like, oh man, like these are human beings, like these are real humans. You start realizing that the people that you hang out with are like cavemen. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like something that we always talked about on the show too. Like some people like grow out of that. Some people adapt and realize like, damn, we was on some child stuff. Or some people is like the ones that you go back and they're still on that like got to make everything sound cool type thing. It's like, bro, we're not in high school, we're not on the block. Like, grow up, bro.
Nah, for real, for real. I mean, I think at a certain point, you know what I mean, we gotta be like, and I think that's why we always talk about all the time how like we grew up with a lot of people around us, and we can count on one hand how many people we still have around us. Just from the standpoint of like when you grow up, you know what I'm saying, certain things that seemed cool or okay at the time, you realize like, bro, like it was just a circumstance of our environment. You know what I mean? Like we grew out of that, and we no longer, are kind of privy to that kind of stuff. And some people just never grow out of it.
Facts.
But
It's like,
you
bro, a perfect segue, and I think this is the best segue of all time, if I do say so myself.
know,
When you talk about Cam and Mace, it's like they were able to grow, but still keep the essence of what they're about, what people liked about them, as far as them being rappers and celebrities. And now they're doing that show. You know what I
hmm
mean? It is what
hmm
it is. It's sports talk show, but it's like kind of like hood style. You
yeah,
know, they dressing nice on it. They coming in suits. They're ready to go. You know what I'm saying? They're not. It's a hood type show, but they not treating it in that hood way. You feel me? Like they're really
hmm
taking the time. They're really doing it the right way. They're getting guests, the production value. They know what they talking about. They're not just going there without like actually like doing research and stuff. So that's why it's working. You know what I mean?
hmm hmm
You got them, right? Doing that, growing, still making money, still I mean, even on the show, they were talking about doing a tour of them together. And Wallo hooked them up with the Live Nation dude, like just on the
Nice.
show. Like he called them and he's like, "Yo, I got Cam and Mace here. They trying to do a tour. What's up?" And he's like, "Yo, I'll put them on tour tomorrow." And he's like, "All right, bet. So I'm gonna connect y'all. So watch now. You'll see. They probably make another bag with that."
hmm
You got
hmm
them two doing that. They spoke on Jewels, like where Jewels is, he was the type of dude that wasn't putting in the work that he should have been at the time. And look at him now, like it shows. You can't say what Cam said was wrong because all you got to do is see what they both on. The proof is in the pudding, bro. Like you
hmm
you can't.
hmm
It's kind of like when I think about Lloyd Banks, like Lloyd Banks, that'd be like he'll always say like, oh, I was a rapper more than anything. Like I wasn't about this industry stuff. I'm a rapper, but he's he ain't lying because he was dropping projects consistently throughout the whole time. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing the mainstream releases, but he was still getting his money. He was still dropping music, and there were still people that thought he was the best rapper. Like when people didn't even talk about Lloyd Banks anymore, there was people out there saying, "Bro, Lloyd Banks is the best rapper out right now."
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah. Mhm.
And that's how I kind of look at the Joel's thing. It's like the proof is in the pudding, bro. Like you ain't doing nothing, so obviously you wasn't doing nothing before.
Mhm.
But you look at Jewels, you look at Mason Cam, and then you look at Jim Jones, bro. That same kind of dude we talking about, like where you're not really seeing like a public growth of him as far as like his character as a man goes. He's still on the meet me outside type stuff. Like if somebody says something about him, he's ready to fight type stuff. And it's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like you too talented, you too elevated. Like, bro, Jim Jones is a dude that's part of a lot of classic hip hop things. You know what I'm saying? Like he could really elevate if he wanted to, he could elevate himself into being like in that air. You know what I'm saying? Like if he just treated himself and his business as such, bro, he could be one of them type dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because he got the resume.
Mhm.
But you talk about that, and it's like that's kind of like what that dude Dee-1 was talking about. You know what I mean? You got
Mhm.
people like that you look at those four people: Joel Santana, Mase, Cameron, Jim Jones. People that kind of started out together. Mase not so much, but he was there in the
He was
beginning.
in
You know
right,
what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So it's like they all kind of started around the same time and all went in a certain direction. And you
Hmm.
see the ones that are still around and relevant are the ones that grew. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Exactly.
But that's, touches on the topic that you wanted to speak on, which is the D1 situation, because there's a lot of layers in that and a lot of different things we could talk about in that. So you
Hmm.
go ahead and like kind of introduce it to everybody, and let me know how you want to approach it.
Yeah, yeah. So D1, for those of y'all that don't know, D1 is an independent artist. I remember probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I remember the first song I think I heard from him that kind of went viral. It was called Sally Mayback, and it was just basically a song about him like finally getting like in a financial situation with music that he was able to pay back his student loans. Like he was a middle school teacher.
Oh,
You know
okay,
what I'm
gotcha.
saying? And so it was a nice little play on it, but it was cool. Song went pretty viral. He was on like Oprah. He was on like a lot of not I can't remember if it was Oprah. He was on a lot of like talk shows about it and stuff, and it was dope. So that kind of catapulted his music career. And since then, he's done a lot, just in the community. He's really gravitated towards being I wouldn't call him a Christian rapper, but he's very into like
Positive.
positivity. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's very into positivity. And so as of recent, he basically called out what he was just making a point on the Sway in the Morning show of like, a lot of these artists kind of basically kind of tethering both sides and for example, he called out Rick Ross, Meek Mill, Jim Jones. He basically said, I love you, but you can't be the face of prison reform. Yet your recent song is talking about killing other brothers. You know what I'm saying? And so obviously, Meek Mill, Rick Ross, Jim Jones, they didn't take too kindly to that. They all had their own piece of mind to speak on it. Meek Mill was a little subtle with his. He basically just kind of said some stuff on his story about it, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Rick Ross basically, responded to him via a video stating that, until you can give out, turkeys and stuff in the community and help people graduate and go to college. You know what I'm saying? Don't check me about my music, blah, 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 blah. Jim Jones basically just came to him on the street route, like, you know what I'm saying? You mentioned my name, like, you got me glitching. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he came to
Yeah.
him, like, on the street route, and then basically, D1 responded to all of them. You know what I'm saying? He said, as far as Meek Mill, he basically was like, your response, I respect it, but at the same time, you're missing my point. Like the content of the music and for what you're doing, they don't line up. He's like, I bought your prison reform shoes for thousands of kids in my community because I believed in what you were doing, but then your music doesn't translate to that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And as far as Rick Ross, it's like, you know, Rick Ross was basically saying everything about what he's done in the community, and D1's like, yo, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but your music is gonna touch way more hearts than those turkeys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that was like the most interesting thing to me, like as far as what he said that really resonated, like because Rick Ross was basically saying like, oh, you don't see how many thousands of turkeys I'm giving out every year at Thanksgiving, like all
hmm
he was kind of just mentioning certain things that he does for the community,
hmm
but like what you said, that was like the line that really like stuck with me, like. It's like, yeah, but you might give away 20,000 turkeys, but a million people hearing a song,
yeah, exactly, exactly. And like I said, as far as Jim Jones, I haven't seen him respond to Jim Jones yet, but I did see a general response. He went on another show or pod or whatever it was that he was on, and basically what he stated was something along the lines of, I'm for the first time in a long time, I'm just drawing a line in the sand of, where are you trying to stand within this hip hop? Like, are you going to be on the side of positivity, or are you going to be on the side of negativity? Either way, I'm cool with it, but don't tether both. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so that's kind of where his thought process is, as far as why he said what he said. And with that said, I'll give my thoughts on it, but kind of what do you think overall?
So when it comes to this, it's real interesting to me because it's something that in my own music I'm very conscious of. And if you hear my music, there's not themes of like cheating. There's not themes of like degrading women. Like I'm very particular about like the type of things I say in the music because I'm a firm believer in what Dee-1 is talking about, like with the music thing. But like I said, with this, it's kind of like I'm gonna be talking out of the both sides of my mouth, out of both sides of my mouth, because it's like at the same time, I'm not trying. Like when it comes to rap, like especially dog, like one, I'm not trying to hear something with no curses.
Hmm.
Like it just don't hit. Like I don't know what it is. Like hip hop is like a raw type of energy, and if you're not cussing, like it's damn near impossible for me to really rock with it.
Hmm.
It's just I don't know. Like I have no good reasoning for it. It's just the way my mind works when it comes to that type of music. Same with the content, bro. I'm a big Young Thug fan. You know, Gunna is one of my favorite artists. Just as far as like the as far as an artist goes, I'm not saying he's like a great rapper or whatever. But either way, when you hear the content of his music, Future's another one. I'm a huge Future fan.
Hmm.
But all those artists I just named, they're not saying anything that I would stand behind.
Right.
You
Right.
feel me? Like
Hmm.
they're saying things here and there, just as far as like, how to, stand on, you stand on what you say as a man type stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they got little things here and there, just a lot of, I like it a lot more for just like how they capture like how you feel like coming from those environments. You know what I'm saying? Like they got
Hmm.
these lines here and there that you're like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Like one one that always stands out with me, like especially with Future, is like on a Too Comfortable joint that he dropped. Is like he's just saying, I've been through more stuff this month than somebody been through in a lifetime. Like
Hmm.
obviously the way he delivered it, and there's way more curses in it than what I just said. But
Hmm.
and when in the part of the song that it drops, it's like, bro, like that hits, like, and you feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
things like
Hmm.
that, you feel that. But at the same time, I'm not gonna show some Future to my son and be like, yo, this, you know what I'm saying? Like he'll hear it, but I'll be quick to let him know like this is some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like this is just
Hmm.
music.
Hmm.
So, you know, I definitely feel where D1's coming from, but I'm not gonna listen to any D1 music. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like that, like to me, he like that kind of music to me is kind of like battle rap, kind of like Logic. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of music to me is like you listen, even like Joyner Lucas to a certain degree, bro. It's like the kind of music that you listen to at one time and you're like, dang, that was dope how he did that. But it's not something that you're gonna listen to like on the regular. Like for me, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm. Hmm.
those type of vibes is like, oh, it's cool, you're talented, but I'm not gonna rock with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with like the back and forth and everything. And to me, bro, like it makes it makes Rick Ross look a little corny. Slash, it looks like the message went above his head because it's like, bro, you pointing at some turkeys. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And obviously, when somebody comes at you about what you stand for as a man, nobody's gonna take that in a good way. You feel me?
Hmm.
Like D1 is coming at people like you talking about everything they stand on,
Hmm.
which that's something to me that is like I feel where he's coming from, but at the same time, bro, what are you trying to gain out of this? Slash, like, what's the resolution here where you're just volunteering your assessment of how another man lives his life.
Hmm.
You feel me?
Hmm.
So it's like I said, bro. Like it's a real interesting thing, and it's something that I've been like paying attention to even before you mentioned it, just because there's so many good points on both sides. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And any
Hmm.
and it's like, bro, I'm gonna every artist that D1 was talking about, he's 100% right, but I'm gonna listen to 100 of each of their songs before I listen to one D1 song. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And
Right.
that's just how it is, bro. Like it's a weird thing, and it's like I said, it's a thing where it's like you got like the two little guys on your shoulders, and you don't know which one you're gonna listen to in this situation.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I will say to one point that you made, and then I'll kind of give my piece on it. One point that you made, as far as you not kind of rocking with that his style of music. I think going to his point is like, yeah, I may not have as many listeners as you, but I'm also not devaluing myself in a sense, if that makes sense.
And
You know
and
what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
that 100% because it's like I'm saying, bro. Like
Hmm.
I won't put out certain types of music. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like
Right, right.
I'm staying in that because I feel the same exact way. If I'm not
Hmm.
gonna blow because I'm not trying to say certain phrases and certain bring in certain themes and make people feel a certain way, that's like it's kind of like we were talking about last time with like the sampling and the interpolation. Like it's not just when you're like relying on sounds and melodies and rhythms, but people also just rely on the topics because it's like, it's something that I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but we've kind of talked about it. Like right now, if you wanted to, as a rapper, you could say, "Hey, I'm gonna rap about everything Dee-1 is talking about that he don't want to rap about, and get my numbers up." And you'll get your
Hmm.
numbers up, bro, because you got the skill for it. You
Hmm.
you you're super clever, so you'll be like, bro, that's low hanging fruit. It's so easy to come up with clever lines about things like that because it's there, bro. It's all
It's
there.
easy, yeah.
It's right in your face. It's easy. It's cheap, and that's what makes it hard to make like super good quality music where it's just something that stands on its own, you know?
Right, right, right. Exactly.
And so, like I said, it's like I really feel him on that, and it makes a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, I'm not listening to none
Listen
of
to
his music, bro.
right, right. That's a great take. I think that's an interesting way to look at it because it's factual. I even with all of this going on, I think I went to his spot like his music on Spotify. I played one song and then I was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like nothing that dragged me in. And I'm not saying it was bad. It just it wasn't really like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't for me. Does he
Yeah,
have people that's like that's for him or for them? Yeah, he does for sure, obviously. Or he wouldn't even nobody would even be responding to him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But it's also like more of a neat niche like sound, or a niche kind of artist.
yeah.
Um,
I was gonna say real quick. It's like it kind of puts him in like a kind of box of like a certain type of vibe.
mm,
And how do I say it? It's like, so somebody like, oh, here's a perfect example. Somebody like a Travis Scott.
mm,
I've kind of put myself in a mental place where it's like that's how I would. Future's another one. Travis Scott, Future. They have their sound and what they talking about, right?
mm,
But what are they focusing on? They actually focus on the artistry. They actually focusing on the music. And when you hear them or talk or see them in interviews and stuff, they're not perpetuating the music in how they present themselves. You feel
mhm,
me?
mhm,
Like that's kind of like the space where I've gotten comfortable with as far as like being a fan of somebody. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Which is another thing like which was kind of crazy. Like Young Thug was getting to that stage where like he had a sound and how do you say it, like an image from his music, but then when he would go to these interviews and stuff, he kind of left the tough guy gangster stuff alone, and he was just more like just talking, you know what I mean, and just kind of being him. And I felt like he was kind of like almost crossing over into like a pop, like he was crossing over,
yeah,
like
yeah,
he was starting to perform on these late night shows, you know what I mean, like. And
mhm,
I'm pretty sure he was like on the verge of starting to actually like do interviews on like Jimmy Kimmel and stuff like that,
mhm,
where he was actually showing like his personality and everything. But it's like that's kind of like the space I kind of like it to be in, like
mhm,
somebody like a Rick Ross, Meek Mill. Like Meek Mill is one real big for me, like as far as he is so corny on social media. Like you
mhm,
see like the stuff that he posts and the stuff he volunteers and the tweets that he does, it's like, bro, like you a grown man, guy. Like,
mhm.
come on, bro. Like you gave us dreams and nightmares, bro. Like you gave
Right.
us them Dream Chaser mixtapes. Like, dog, you cannot be out here sounding like a freaking 19-year-old kid that went to the club for the first time. Like, you know what I'm
No
saying? Like,
facts.
he just comes across like that all the time. And it's like, bruh, like, I would just love to just, you know, and it goes back to what we talked about with Joe, dog. Like, that's why you can't even, like hold these artists to what they saying, like as far as like, oh, I'm gonna listen to your music and stand by you as a man, because it's like, dog, if you do that, you're not gonna listen to no music. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
And you even, and the funny thing is, bro, like with somebody like Dee-1, now you out here talking that, right? don't mess up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let
Mm-hmm.
nobody catch you doing anything at all. You wanted to come out the side of your face and say, "Hey, y'all not living right." I'm this positive beacon of light, this and that. Don't mess up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You better hold that, for the rest of your life, dog, because you know people slip and fall. Like that's why I said like it's kind of like double sided to me because it's like I feel where he's coming from, but at the same time, why are you speaking on this? You know what I'm saying? What this got to
Mm-hmm.
do with you?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
just volunteering like a superhero, you know what I'm saying? You with your cape, like, oh, I'm Superman, and these guys are all jerks, like, bro. Now you gotta fly. You feel me?
Yeah. Now I will say I don't know. I didn't watch that entire interview, so I don't know what prompted the initial comment. Um, but I will say, as far as my piece on it, I think that yeah, I do agree. I would say like 80%. I do agree with what he's saying. I do. I think the biggest part of it to me is, you know, yeah, great. Give back to the community. You know what I'm saying? Prison reform, all of that is great. But, we can all say that like certain styles of music influences certain behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
and when you are, I would call you not a, you know, Mount Rushmore, but you are an OG in this hip hop game. You know what I'm
You a
saying? When you are
top.
an
You a
OG, you a
top.
top one. You a top dog out here. And a lot of these young cats looking up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna continue to. I mean, how many young rappers do we see get killed every year, bro?
Facts.
I think I saw like a video. Well, like they put out a video every year of different rappers they got killed, and I think the last year it was like 300 something. Where it's like, bro, that's almost a rapper a day.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why? Because what they see is what they gonna emulate. They
And,
see the
and, and that's the
success of.
that's the
Go
part of
ahead.
it that people like Rick Ross. I feel missed the point on. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
dog, you saying all this, that's cool, but we not talking about the bigger issue here that there's kids that are impressionable, that are seeing the way you talking online and stuff and the character that you portraying, and
Mm-hmm.
they taking it like fact. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, bro, like, you know, when you like growing up in the neighborhood and all that and everything's kind of rough, like you hear this music and you feel like you're automatically assuming these dudes are telling the truth, bro. Like you don't
Right.
got nobody to tell you, hey, these dudes are just talking just to talk. You know what I mean? Like this is
Mm-hmm.
not what's really going on every day. They just, they might have went through something for an hour one time, in 3 years ago, and they living off that moment. They talking like a kingpin just because they did one thing one time.
Right.
If that, a lot of people just going to the studio and they creating their stories in the studio.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but a lot of times like people listening to it don't know that, and exactly what Dee-1 was saying, like a million people listen to it. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know how many of those people are just being influenced and thinking like, yeah, to be a boss, I gotta be, hard, and I gotta sell, drugs and do all this. Like,
Yeah, man. And it's like, yeah, you doing these things for the community. Yeah, you giving these turkeys. Yeah, you paying for these people to go to school. But it's like, is that actually balancing out the negativity that you're feeding as well? And don't get me wrong, bro. I listen to all that. You know what I'm saying? I do. Like, I'm not saying it's um it's bad because at the end of the day, it's entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We watch hood movies all the time, but at the same time, I can see the point of let's draw the line. You know what I'm saying? Which side of the line are you on? Don't
yeah.
tether both sides. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it's like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just where it's
No,
blurry.
that's super interesting because like the way you're breaking it down, I didn't really think about it. It's like, are you doing more good than bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you could say that you did X, Y, and Z, but again, it goes back to that ratio. Like, what what the what the message you spreading is it overtaking, the good that you say that you're doing? Like, it's a crazy thing, and it goes back to even the hood thing too. Is like, work smarter, not harder, man. Like, why are you gonna try to like, be so creative with your music and do other stuff with it to try to get on when hey, I can do this. This is what they looking
It
for.
doesn't
Let's
work
get it.
exactly. And that
It's,
kind of just goes to the, and I mean, obviously that's this is gonna take it a whole nother direction, but that just goes to the selling your soul, perspective of it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, we obviously know you have the talent to make music. You know what I'm saying? And I think the exact words D1 said was, you know, I can make positive music and still have a fan base. Can you? You know what I'm saying? So it's like
It's hard. It's harder. It's definitely
it's
harder.
harder. It's harder. So it's like, you know, it does make sense from both perspectives. I definitely lean on the D1 side of it as an artist and as somebody that, you know, when I first started rapping, I was saying all this stuff that I definitely probably, you know, saying today would look crazy because I know I don't live that life. You know what I'm saying? Um, and you know, just from that perspective, it's like I try my best to when I make music, be myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't talking about nothing I ain't actually doing. You know, and
Yep.
I'm not trying to spread no kind of negative message. Like even if the message is like a negative concept, I try to put my own twist on it where it's like still positive in
Yeah, it
some
always
way.
got to lead somewhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, it's just that gratuitousness. You know what I mean? Like you don't want
Hmm.
anything to ever be gratuitous. Like if you can't be doing too much from any angle. Like it's just that moderation thing. Like moderation is, moderation applies to everything in life. Like even water, bro. You have too much water, you die. Like
Hmm.
that's like the basic building block of life. And if you have too much of it, you die. Like it just lets you know you always gotta you always gotta stay in that middle. You know what I mean? As far as like, the highs and the lows, like you gotta stay as like grounded as you can.
Hmm. Not big facts.
But yeah, man, I got these little articles here, man. I was looking up in the news. Like I look for like a little different kind of news this week. Dog, you know how scared I am of flying, bro. Like, we've flown a few times together. I don't know if you like if you were able to physically see it, because I get I get real like just like real serious and real focused, and like I don't I'll be kind of like in the zone, but I'll be
Mm.
scared, dog. Like scared, like crazy scared. And I was reading this article, bro. Crew aboard a U.S. bound plane discovered a missing window pane at 13,000 feet.
Yo, chill out.
Bruh, people started noticing like it was a little more noisy and cold than usual and on the flight. And then they noticed that, bro.
Yo, that's why. So what? The window was like
It was
open, but the little
straight, no,
shade
no,
thing was
it was
down.
missing a window, period. Like one of the little windows with the shade, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It was missing it.
What?
One was damaged and two were missing. I'm looking at the picture right now, bro.
Oh my god, bro.
And they
Yeah.
were up in the air when they noticed it. Bro, I would have died before that plane landed, dog. I would have had a heart attack in the air, bro. I would have been done, dog. Yo, I've been through like going to Puerto Rico. That's like I hate that flight because there's always I feel like there's always mad turbulence. Like
Mhm.
all the flights that I've had like in the last like 15 years or so have been like smooth, except for like one flight to Dallas. It was like kind of rough. Yo, whenever there's any turbulence, dog, you don't understand the fear that overtakes my heart, bro. You do not understand, dog. I'd be so shook. I be thinking it's over, bro. Immediately start thinking about my family. I'm like, why did I take this flight? What an idiot I am. Who does this? Who leaves their family and gets on a plane? You know what I mean? Like I just start
Yeah.
thinking crazy stuff, dog, because that shit is scary, bro.
Yeah, no,
But
I'm
yeah,
not.
man.
I'm not the most. Like I don't mind a flight. I'll take a flight because I've definitely taken plenty of flights, but it's not something that I'm jumping for. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
facts, bro. If
at
I could
all.
drive like that, that's why I want to free my time up just so I could like take the time to drive places. You know what I mean? Because I don't
Mm.
mind driving. I like driving. I would like to get like an RV or something because I really
Yo,
like.
my bad. Before you go into the next one, yo, did you know that there's a so the only reason I'm thinking of this is because we talking about the flights and I'm actually scared of heights. So I like if I'm standing on top of a building, bro, you're not about to catch me like too close to the edge. You know what I'm saying? Like so when I'm in a plane, like I can look out the window and I'll be all right, but I'm still in my mind like scared
Yeah.
of heights, you know? But what made me think about it, did you know that there's a newer branch of basically not the army, but the United States like uh,
Armed forces.
armed forces. Thank you. That's hold on. I want to tell you the exact name. I'm trying to think of it. I'm looking it up right now. But
The scaredy cat division.
it's like a
I could be the general there, bro.
it's called Space Force, the U.S.
Oh,
Space
Space
Force,
Force. Yeah, yeah.
bro. So they just launched Space Force as in like a few years ago. And dog, the first thing I thought about was Halo, bruh.
Crazy,
Like
right?
that's like literally what it's like set out to be almost like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Bro, it's even like it's crazy, dog. Like Terminator, the whole plot of Terminator, it's we're literally in the beginning stages of what they like. So in Terminator, the world is already basically like taken over by the robots, right?
mhm,
But like whenever they talk about what happened that led to it, they always talk about like the AI and like them introducing it, them like saying how like much is helping this and that, and it like then other people saying like nah, like they basically exactly what's going on right now with the introduction of the AI is dog. Elon Musk, it's like he's making this like one of his top priorities right now is
mhm,
trying to help regulate slash stop this AI thing.
mhm,
He's legit concerned slash scared, like to the point where he's going to these summits and stuff. Like he's making sure that he's going to talk about this stuff because he's like, bro, they're they're programming this stuff to basically look at us as the enemy. You
mhm,
know what I'm saying? Like
mhm.
all the media and everything that's out there that's to be consumed paints humans as like the most vile pieces of shit on the planet, bro. What you think a robot is gonna think if they read all this stuff and try to figure out like how to eliminate problems and things like that. And all the information that is taken in is everybody, like we were talking about earlier, bro. Rappers getting shot, people
Mhm.
pumping out negativity, like all the shit that is going on, bro. Dog, that like I said, like that's like the plot of Terminator, bro. And that's literally
Mm-mm-mm.
like the stages that we're in right now. We're like basically in the Terminator world, we're at that pivotal stage right now where like it's like the make or break thing. Obviously, this is real life and it's not a movie. But
Right.
kind of going back even to what you was just talking about, dog, like these plots, bro,
They've been dropping
they
hints for a long time, bro.
yeah, bro.
And then the thing is that we not like nobody's really like, bro. I just so the Space Force was formed December 20th, 2019.
Yep.
So it's not even 4 years yet. And basically, uh, here, the U.S. Space Force's line of effort enabled the service to provide the forces, personnel, and partnerships required to preserve U.S. space superiority.
Bruh.
What?
And then you talking about like a short couple years later, they're starting to come out with these UFO declassified things where they're talking about these UAPs, the unidentified aerial phenomenon, because they changed the name to
Hmm.
that now. And it's like
Hmm.
they're talking about things that people in the armed forces have seen, like pilots, generals, different people that before were scared to talk about it. Now they're actually like bringing this information out. So it's
Yeah,
it's
this
crazy,
is
bro.
crazy, bro. This is nuts right now, man. Because
Bro, there's a lot of stuff like period that is going on slash always is going on in the world, and it's crazy, man. Because all the stuff that goes on, like especially like right now with the Israel and Palestine stuff, everybody like wants to jump to like have an opinion and talk about it and stuff. And even like when I was looking up articles earlier, like even when the funny articles, I stay away from stuff that has to do with death,
Mhm.
anything that touches on like real subjects, because it's like dog, like this kind of stuff is going on all over the world. One, two, I'm not gonna talk about it or dissect it where it's like, bro, like none of us really know what's really going on over there unless we in there living it. Unless
Right.
you've been in any of these situations, not even just Israel and Palestine, like any situation in this world, bro. Like unless you're talking to me from a first-hand point of view because you're somebody that's lived in there or in that situation your whole life and you got some experience to talk about it from, I don't want to hear it, bro, because ain't nobody over here is gonna know what's going on in a country, half the globe away
Hmm.
that has been going through something for 2,000 years. Like you're gonna tell me you have the answer for it? Like, come on, bro. Be a little, have a little more sense in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it's like we were talking about it in the chat the other day. Like a lot of me and Joe were talking about it in particular. And then you chimed in when you got back on the conversation. But it was like, bruh, we not over here trying to have these conversations slash bring up this animosity or or go through these emotions with people about certain things when it's like, bro, the writing's on the wall. It is what it is. People are gonna be the way that they are. You can't try to be so microscopic about everything all the time. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you got to just zoom out. Like that's bro. Again with the Watchmen, bro. But it's like Doctor Manhattan and Watchmen. He would take his chick Lori. He would take her to the moon basically, like to sit up there and have like their conversations and stuff, so they could actually like have a place to like really talk and really like be locked in on the conversation. You know what I mean? Like he
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't, he would take her out there to talk. And I always feel like it's like the imagery of like you sitting on the moon, looking at the earth, and then like talking about life from that perspective, bro. Like that's something that a lot of people should try to like envision. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like imagine
Mm-hmm.
when you're talking about life and when you're talking about the stuff that you're looking at the whole globe. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
zoom out of your situation, zoom out of like what you personally feel and what you're going through. Like, but when you zoom out and really look at it, like it gives you a whole different view.
Mm-hmm. Have you I mean, going to that point, it's like now because people, I'll be seeing stuff so often on social media where people are like just clowning somebody or responding to somebody in a certain way where it's like people just their opinions now they feel like they're so valid and
Yeah.
so warranted. You know what I mean? And have you seen Don't Look Up on Netflix?
Nah.
Great movie. I highly recommend you
That's a
watch it.
Jordan Peele joint, right?
No, no, no. It's not Jordan Peele, but it has oh man, it has what's his name? Jonah Hill's in it. A few good actors. I can't remember. I know Jonah Hill's in it.
Dang, I gotta
Um,
look it up so because I'm thinking of a completely different movie then.
Leonardo DiCaprio's in it.
You know what I was thinking of? Nope.
Oh yeah, no, okay,
Yeah,
yeah. That's Jordan.
yeah,
But nah, bro. I mean, just to give you a little premise of it, basically what it is this astrologist or she's basically she works in astronomy.
okay,
She detects this crazy meteor is on the way to Earth, and she basically figures this out and tries to go, excuse me, on tour and tell the president and just like tell everybody about what's going on and what's about to happen. And when she's telling everybody about it, um, they have time to do something.
yeah.
But people are so captivated with what's the female artist your daughter loves again?
Ariana Grande.
She's in the movie. And people are so captivated with Ariana Grande and her love story and what's going on. And everybody's making these jokes and comments about it. And nobody's taking it serious because they're so captivated with so many stupid things going on around them. And, I think that's all I'm going to give you right now because I don't want to tell you the movie. But basically, just to say, I say all that to say that it's like everybody's opinion and what people say now is they're so focused on that they're not looking at the big picture of what's actually happening around them.
And it's great that you said that because it really like it really drives my point because I always feel like people have these strong opinions. Everybody got to say what they got to say. You know, every time you go online, you see all these things that people are writing. They're trying to get their shit off. They're trying to have the smartest thing to say. But at the end of the day, we are getting marketed to slash advertised at a certain way for a reason. Is
Hmm.
because as a people, our habits are reflecting that this kind of stuff that they're feeding us is working.
Right.
So until everybody really just shuts the fuck up and really locks into what they say they're about, until everybody does that, ain't nothing gonna change. You know what I mean? That's why like I'm always hesitant slash hopeless when it comes to like organizing for anything because it's like, bro, like I know that out of 100 people, 90 of them ain't gonna be worth shit.
Hmm.
And that's just the way it is. Like, there's no way around it, bro. Like, you could try to say this and that, whatever. No, you take a sample of 100 people, bro. 90 of them are always gonna be nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're always gonna be the people that are getting marketed to, the people
Hmm.
that everybody says that they quote unquote hate. That's the majority, bro. And we fall into that to a certain degree because everybody always, including us, we always take our stands with shit and we always act like we're this and that. But we all fall here and there and we all end up part of the statistics. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
we're all in the same group. We're all humans together, bro. And it's like and I think like the persecution of like, oh, your sin is worse than mine is what fucks us up. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? If we could
exactly.
just really
Exactly.
all know, like, bro, we're all flawed, but let's all aim to be better, and then everything will get better, bro. Like, I always think about this short story I read when I was a kid. I think I might have brought it up on the podcast, but I always bring it up in life. Like, it was a short story, basically, like talking about, in the early 2000s, they always was talking about like how we're polluting the planet. That's when global warming started becoming a big thing,
Hmm.
and it was a short story at the time where it was like they went to the past. I mean, I'm sorry, they went to the future to see how things have gotten. And basically, the gist of the story is Buddy thought he was in the past, but then he realized he was in the future. It's just people realized that they needed to go back to like sensibilities. Like, for example, like he thought he was in the past because he started seeing people with lawnmowers that weren't gas powered. They had the
Hmm.
old school ones that was just the blade. And he
Hmm.
was like, dang, I must have went in the past
The
instead of the
past, yeah.
future. But then he figured out, nah, I'm in the future. It's just people realize like we need to change the way we are. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And bro, like I feel like unless the world has that kind of moment, you know, ain't nothing gonna change. You know what I mean? Like if everybody's still on the same stuff, everybody's still worrying about me, 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 ain't nothing gonna change, man.
Facts. Big, big facts.
Bro, something dope. If you get a chance to check it out, and I'm gonna leave the people with this. There is a series that's like 4 episodes on Netflix called dang, something of the faith. Bro, I gotta pull it up real quick. I just had it starts with an M. Um,
Mysteries of the Faith.
Mysteries on Netflix.
Yeah, so I'm.
Yeah, Mysteries of the Faith on Netflix. Bro, they they talk about certain artifacts that have religious uh religious ties to them slash like very important milestones or just they're tied to like very important parts of religious story,
Mhm.
and they just talk about how that impacts people. They talk about what the lengths that people go through to preserve these things. it's it's a lot of it's a lot, like as far as like the information goes and as far as like the angle on it, because it's really just a lot of information from like for example, one of the things they talk about is the crown of thorns that Jesus wore. Like they
Mhm.
supposedly have the actual one, somewhere in France, and they
Mhm.
just give you the backstory on it. They show it. They show like the people that like that fight it and say no, that's not the real one. Like they just show all different sides of it, and they give like the religious side of it, the scientific side. Like it's kind of hard to describe, but it's super fire, and it definitely makes you think, and it's something that after what we just talked about, it really like it'll really get your brain going as far as like just thinking about those concepts and that, because even just thinking about like what somebody being able to say, hey, I can go and see the crown of thorns that Jesus wore and validate that what I believe is real, and just give them that feeling and that spark to keep going. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like,
Mhm.
just like if you get a chance to watch that, if not, I'm just gonna kind of like go back and like uh catch all the main points so we can talk about it because it's super fascinating, bro.
Dope. I'm gonna check it out. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of new on Netflix. But yeah, man, you got any new joints that you dropping? Anything that people got to tap in with?
Yeah, man. This Friday, that came a long way joint is dropping, and actually, you mixed and mastered that, which is dope.
Let's go. Yeah, I've
Yes,
been hyped
sir.
for that one. I actually showed that to my son and my brother when we were skateboarding the other day, and they liked it a lot too. I was
Nice.
super proud of that record just to be involved, and I like what you did with it. So it was dope hearing that they liked it too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm super excited about that one. Just shot some content with Freddie over the weekend. So yeah, man, I'm excited to kind of roll that one out and uh Actually, it's looking like I got a little collab joint. I'm not gonna say too much about it till it's ironed out, but I got a nice little collab joint to drop towards the end of the month, and then hopefully kind of wrap up some things for a potential project at the top of the year, man.
Nice, man. Yeah, I've been getting all my ducks in a row. I've been slacking. Just have a lot of stuff going on, like real life. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But
sir.
I'm getting ready for that bounce back. And either way, I'm gonna stay butter.